That's good. Amen, amen, amen. It is so glad to have everyone on. I just want to welcome you to my own personal conflict self-assessment. Amen, amen, amen. I pray that this truly bless you, and I hope that you can learn from just my own self-assessment. This was mind-blowing to me. I never knew that there's something like this could be so successful, that someone actually even thought of creating something like this. It is so great. But I'm just so glad, and I just want to go into the lesson. Of course, with me, I learned from Tony. Always believe in going in with a sense of humor. So I also have a clip I want to give credit to. It's not my video clip, but I want to give great homage to a great movie that I grew up watching that I thought would be great fitting for this. It's called Waterboy. And so, basically, how do I deal with the conflict? One of the things is, what does conflict looks like to me? And so conflict looks like to me a little bit something just like this. So please watch for me, because I want you to see exactly what conflict looks like. And so right now, I hope you can hear it, but just watch this for me real quick. Come on.
So, why you pick this class anyway? It's pretty hard. Oh, beautiful view. All right.
All right. All right. Y'all shut up now. Now, last week, we talked about the physiology of the animal brain as it pertains to aggression. Now, is there anyone here that can tell me why most alligators are abnormally aggressive?
I know the answer to this question. Raise your hand.
Anybody? Anyone? Yes or you?
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Your mama said alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. Wow. Anybody else? Yes or you?
Alligators are aggressive because of an enlarged medulla oblongata. It's the sector of the brain which controls aggressive behavior.
That is correct. The medulla oblongata.
But Mama said
The medulla oblongata is where anger, jealousy, and aggression come from. Now, is there anybody here can tell me where happiness comes from? No. Anyone? All right. Let's hear what Mama has to say on the subject.
Mama say that happiness is from magic rays of sunshine that come down when you're feeling blue.
Well, folks, Mama's wrong again.
No, Colonel Sanders, you're wrong. Mama's right.
Mama's right. Mama's right. Something wrong with his medulla oblongata. It's okay to fight back. Most times said I could.
So as you see, I had to show you one of my favorite videos, which is none other than the Waterboy. But this is exactly what happens sometimes when we do not deal with conflict correctly. And that what gets me into the next part of my presentation. And that is that when we deal with conflict, as I took the assessment, several of my results came up. One of the two high that I scored very high in, one was compromise and the other was cooperation. I'm gonna say it again, compromise and cooperation. My lows were was directing and being avoidant, which I was very surprised on as well. but I will say they was 100% accurate. One of the things I asked myself was, how do I handle conflict? And one of the things I want to just go over is that in doing this assessment, I noticed a lot about myself that I really have some work to do. Because why I feel so burnt out at times, I see why churches burns me out, as well as I see how sometimes even being at home can also burn you out. And that's because I don't handle conflict as I thought I did. And in the assessment, I mean, I really thought I did well. But one of the things I learned in this assessment is compromise. I always tried to figure out a compromise. And I thought that that was a great positive, and it's very positive. But one of the things about it is I'm always trying to meet in the middle. And so sometime when I'm meeting in the middle, what that does mean is that everything that I think or believe that could be really getting, it end up being cut in half. Because now I'm saying, give me half of you, I give you half of me. But sometimes we need the whole person. And so in this assessment, I learned that compromise is good because one, it brings the fire down. It allows one another to listen to each other. But at times, it could also be very bad because someone's going to get the short end of the stick. And when you compromise a lot, both is getting the short end of the stick. Because why? I always want all points to be heard. And I always try to get what we call a win-win-win. But I learned that sometimes you will not always have a win-win-win. And so that's why I learned, Jerome, how do I handle conflict? How do I really deal with it? And one of the things I learned that is that I have always tried to stop whatever I'm doing to deal with the situation. And that's sometimes not always good because I always think, let me put this fire out now before it becomes a blaze. Well, guess what? Every situation will not always become a blaze. But these are the things that sometimes I was telling myself that I needed to deal with it right now. And I began to really think that there's times I could be out with my family and I could be at the movies. I'll leave out the movie to just go deal with the issue that really technically did not need to be addressed or handled in that. But because I didn't evaluate or measure the impact, I just responded. And that's why I learned I can't always just respond because it does not help anybody. But one of the things I always also learned is that even my response is that I don't always have to give all of my opinion of what I assess should be. And there's one time is that I always learn is that we put people in our boxes. And I learned that I box people in because I want them to see my perspective. And I want them to see, do I have your undivided attention? Because why? I'm recognizing that I feel like I need to be in control. A lot of this I really think came from a deeper place. Some I believe is stimulated from my childhood when I was raised by a single woman, my mom. She always said, be seen but not heard. So I always felt like my voice did not matter. And so therefore, as me being a pastor, it is very important to me that my voice matters, that I am being heard, that people are paying attention to me. And this is something that I see through this assessment that I must work on. And so that's why it goes to my next question. What do I need to see in myself? I need to see that I can trust myself by not always feeling that I have to be the center focus. I do not have to be on the main stage, but I can work behind the scenes. And that's why I learned that through this, I could be very cooperating. How? By helping others not always see my perspective, but begin to be willing to be flexible and making room for others' opinions, making room so others can feel heard, making room and time where others can feel needed. Because so many conflicts comes by what? One person only talking and only one person listening. But we both need to listen as well as talk at times. But to do this, we first have to address where does it come from. And that's why for me, I learned that in my childhood, me always being silenced, I felt like my opinion didn't matter. So as I grew up, I always want to feel heard. And that's why I end up going to a state of burnout. Yes, yes, yes. I'm talking about being burnt out. And I found out that even on my job, at church, I had this season of being burnt out. Why? Because I'm constantly going. I'm giving more of me, giving more of me, giving more of my time. And guess what? It is good to give your time, but who are you really giving? Are you giving 150% you, or are you giving 50% of you? I used to go to my day job, and because I'm also a part-time pastor, leave directly from my day job and go right into meetings. How many of you know that's a no-no? That's burnt out city. I'm learning that I can no longer do that because I am really spreading myself very thin. And then to have to come home and deal with my family is extra burnt out because now they want me to focus on them. And that is impossible to do at this time because I have already gave some of me to my day job, some of me to the church. And then when I get down to the family, there's nothing left. And then therefore you feel emotionally drained, you feel spiritually drained, and you feel mentally drained. So you can't even have a complete thought sometimes. That's why I'm learning how to prevent this. How do I make myself better? And that's not dealing with some of my fears. And that what leads me to one question. What is it that I'm afraid of that limit myself as a leader? And I did not really ponder until I really took a deep self-assessment of myself and really looked at my assessment. And I'm learning that I am more afraid of feeling as if I do not matter. And most of all, and I hate the feeling of feeling as I am not well respected. And guess what? This all came from, yet again, a traumatic point in my life of a previous church that I was appointed to. This church was doing so well when I first got there. Always is like your first year as a pastor. Everything, you're learning, you're watching. But the moment that you begin to, not go where they want you to go, which is they have family cliques, different things like that. And next thing you know, you find yourself, you're preventing yourself from being a part of the family cliques. And what happens when you're doing that, tension begins to rise. And that's why I'm learning that through this, it is very important that you make sure you stay grounded and true to who you are, and that you don't not have to be a yes person. That has never been me. But as I watched and learned through this lesson, that there's some better words I could have used. There's some better opportunities. And that's why I learned about avoiding. That was one of the lows that I experienced. But one of the things I recognize in my lows is that I want people to respect me. So therefore, I don't always have to respond. Because the deal is I want to matter. I want people to see me. I want people to hear me. But most of all, I want people to respect me. But to do this, you got to also have those same values to yourself and begin to respect your time, making sure you are having a moment of silence, that you are getting yourself centered for God so you can be a better you. And how do I help is that what is it that I may jump into so quickly, which is, as I mentioned earlier, which is always trying to be the superhero. I learned that I don't have to be the superhero. I don't always have to be on the main stage. It's okay to create the platform, but you do not have to be on the stage. And so through this has helped me assess myself in a such better manner. And I am so grateful for this opportunity because I choose to be better. And to be better, I must begin to make the better decisions for me as well as for my family. And that's why I'm learning that I must evaluate, I must value the time, I must really see what is really being needed and asked of me in this process. And in order to do that, I must begin to focus. I must recognize people do see you, but I need to also see them. I need to make them feel like they are present. I need to begin to remain calm. I need to begin to avoid becoming defensive. We're quickly to put up the wall when things are not going our way. But guess what? It's not always about us. So I learned that even when I'm addressing folk, I need to use my I statements. I need to begin to even listen to them, ask them, describe me that emotion that you're feeling. I need to begin to make sure people feel that I am listening, not for them to just listen to me, but I need to be flexible. I need to be more cooperative, but I need to begin to practice others' tools so I can be a better person. And that leads me to my next question. How do I need to grow in the areas as a leader of conflict? This is good stuff. I mean, when I tell you this was just mind blowing for me. In the areas of conflict, I need to trust myself and love more of what is. That's a big statement, which is I need to begin to accept who people really are. I don't need to keep putting my expectations on people. I don't need to figure out, oh, if I do this, they could be better. I got to stop always trying to fix people because it is not my job to fix them. My job is to pray for them that Christ will show up for them and be who he needs to be for them, not who I need to be for them, and recognize the difference. Recognize when I just need to sit there and pray and listen. But in order to do that, I must stay focused. I must clearly understand what is being asked of me. And in order to do that, that is so important why compromising and cooperating is so important. But most of all, avoiding and directing, which were my least, are also important. I got to direct other people to other folk. I got to direct that I don't need to respond all the time. I got to avoid always having to feel like I got to respond. These are areas that I believe if I begin to create a better behavior pattern, it will help me become so much better. And ordinary for me to do that, I got to continue to remember God has so much more in store for me, but I got to stop accepting every challenge. Every challenge is not always a good challenge. And I got to have the wisdom to know the difference. I got to have the listening skills to say, Jerome, it's okay. You're all right. And that's why for me, it was so a blessing in this assessment because I'm learning more and more about being a better me, learning that it is okay, that everything does not have to go my way. This assessment really blessed me. I also want to get my whole family involved because I think if we all take this assessment, it can really help our communication here in my home front. Because so many times I get frustrated because I feel like I'm not feeling heard, I'm not feeling respected because my opinion is not being accepted. Well, guess what? Just because they're not accepting my opinion don't mean I'm not respected, don't mean I'm not being heard. It's just that I need to start making room for what happens when people do not want to hear or receive what I say. And know it is okay. And stop trying to put more energy to try to change their mind to my perspective. I learned a lot in this assessment. I have a lot to grow, but I'm really grateful for this class. And I want to tell you, Joan and Tony, I really appreciate this. And I believe this is going to help me become a change agent. And I look forward to more in store that we have in this class. Thank you so much. God bless you guys.